Power Agent Facebook group. We are live. Let me see. I'll do this every time. Whilst viewers are building up, I'm going to make sure that you can all hear me. Let's have a look. Hope everyone's well. Had a good, powerful Monday. I've got my little one outside that door, screaming his head off. So you might hear him in a mo. Let's go. Come on. I'm a little bit unprepared for this one. It's been a manic day. Drop in comments if you can hear me as you come on. Just want to make sure. It's a really good topic today we're talking about, and this is the third week in a row I've kept these going, and it's going all right, to be fair. Manic Monday, bad hair day, typical office day, updating clients and that kind of stuff, getting ahead of the week. Loud and clear. Nice one. Thanks for that. I ain't got to check. So we're at double figures. So let's go. I'm not going to rant or go on for ages, but this topic, make sure my microphone is here. This topic is really timely, right? Because I'm going to share my screen in a minute. And while I'm talking, I'm going to bring up another page. It's a really good topic because we versus you. And I had a client forward me an email I had a client that I'm taking on forward me an email from their existing estate agent. And when they forwarded it to me, and their comments were, "Can't believe he's saying it's all me." And it was a really interesting point. And so I thought I'd do this live. It'd be quick. It's not going to set your world alight. And for a lot of people, it might be really valuable. But I would hope that most people are doing this already. But I thought to myself, really, is that an estate agent sending that kind of email to a client? No wonder the client's pissed off. Maybe I should do a little live about communicating with clients in the what I perceive to be the right way. You might disagree. I've got my view of estate agents, right, is that in 10 years' time, or my hope for estate agents, is they'll be in the category of like accountants, doctors, solicitors. So, you know, when people say, I've got a problem, I'm going to call my accountant, and I've got a problem, I'm going to call my doctor. People generally today don't really think, I need property advice, I'm going to call my estate agent. They tend to think, I'm going to call 3 estate agents, see who's the cheapest, who's going to tell me the highest price, and I'll go with them. So I think as an industry, we're causing this to happen because we're not really gelling with our clients well enough. So let me quickly share my screen. Hang on 1 minute. I want to quickly check something. Let me share my screen. I've been way more prepared this week. I've done a few slides, but I want to quickly make sure inside here. Let me close down my WhatsApp and all, because that's going to keep buzzing. I'm nearly there, I promise. Talk about being unprepared. Right, forget what I was going to. Let me share my screen, right. Can you all drop a comment in? Can we all drop a comment in if you can see my screen properly? I'm really hoping you can. And the whole point of this is I see too many estate agents use the word you in their communication, and they should really be using we. Let me give you some examples about that. And I've got a really good example that we compare the two and how it sounds and comes across to clients. So there's 2 golden rules. One is, in all your marketing communications, you should hear the word you more than we. So on your website, for example, so website copy, marketing emails, marketing letters, rather than it saying, what it shouldn't say is, we are the #1 agency in the town. We have sold so many properties over the years. It'd be something like, you are in safe hands because we've sold thousands of properties. See what I mean? You've got to start the communication. Whereas client comms should always be we. So let's go on to this one. I'm going to make this really quick because it's a crazy Monday, but I didn't want to drop out. Let's quickly explore, right, what clients want to feel. So I'm going to quickly check my comments. We can see it. Cool. There's only a few things I think that a client wants to feel. And the word feel is really important because you can tell them something or you can make them feel it. And feelings are what people act on. So I think what a client wants to feel is that you're in it together. They want to feel that you're a team and a partnership. So when I'm sitting down with clients, I'll make quite clear, look, I'm obviously going to be your agent, but to have a successful move is as much about you as it is about me. We need to work together as a team in partnership to get you the very best outcome. Is that okay? Yes, Perry, of course it is. They want to feel like a failed sale affects both of you negatively. This is quite crucial when I go on to the next slide. And they need to feel like you're working for, stroke with them, not against them. Put his phone on silent as well. Jesus Christ. So this is, the more I'm thinking about this, the more I'm thinking it is quite a big deal, this whole subject. I was thinking before the weekend, I kind of want to share this, but I don't think it's going to set everyone's world alight. But I do think it's really important that if you're a through and through estate agent and it's your life, you know, that sounds a bit out there, didn't it? But I don't believe modern day estate agents can kind of be an estate agent until 6 o'clock and then they're not. It's kind of life, isn't it? You're just going through life, achieving, and you happen to do most of your time spent on doing estate agency, being an estate agent. And if you're in that mindset that you want the industry to become more like, let me call my estate agent, that's how you build clients for life. But you won't build clients for life like that unless you subconsciously change the way you talk to them, communicate with them, act with them, all that kind of stuff. So we go to the next slide, right? Because I want to show you this. It's quite powerful stuff. Here's a poor example. This is a bit of a condensed version of the email that this soon-to-be my client sent to me from their current estate agent. And here's what he says. I really do feel you should have accepted the offer you had back in June. If you had, you would not be in this position now. Your options now are to reduce the price to create more interest, and I'm sure you will have a buyer very soon. Right? You could argue that's not a bad email. Changing that one word to we completely changes the feeling that the client's going to have. So I really do feel we should have accepted the offer we had back in June. Okay, so cool. So he's a client reading that's going to think, cool, he's taking some accountability for this. Then you would go on to say, you know, hindsight's a great thing, but don't worry, what we do now is the most important thing. If we had, we would not be in this position now. We're in it together. Our options now are to reduce the price to create more interest, and I'm sure we will have a buyer very soon. So it sounds really stupid, doesn't it? We versus you. But if you're watching this thinking, oh, damn, I use the word you quite a lot. Before you hit send on that email, before you pick up that phone, run the scenario through your brain yourself a little bit, just to think, nope, I'm going to reframe that. I'm going to go through that email, you know, bang out the email. Then we've got this kind of system, I guess, at Power. So it's called check and check again. So you always check, then you check it again. So you reread it and think, yeah, no, I could change that to we. And it just creates a whole better feeling and you'll get a way better outcome, I promise. And the client will feel more valued, ultimately. Next slide. Examples. Imagine these sentences with the word we instead. If you reduce to the plan B strategy, I expect you'd get more interest. If we reduce to the plan B strategy, I expect we'd get more interest. You've had 16 viewings since launch. No, we've had 16 viewings because we're a team together. In hindsight, we should have accepted the initial offer. You need to ensure the property is easily available for viewings. We need to ensure the property is easily available for viewings. Is there anything I can do to help with that? Right? When this comes to it, so let me stop the share a minute. Let me see if I've got any comments. Remove the share. Loads of comments. Look at everyone out tonight on a Monday. All good, loud and clear. Hello, good afternoon. I love that, going to call my estate agent. Oh, Vicky, it's so powerful, isn't it? Like, I always build every client in my mindset. I'm building me to be their agent for the rest of their life and their whole families as well. I've sold £1 million houses, studio flats, 3-bed semis for the same family because it's like Perry's my agent and I've helped on their onward negotiation. I've helped on their sale. It's just such an important thing to get in that mindset, and it changes how you then treat, deal with, act, the words you use with clients. All good. Mr. Stories on. We must be honoured to have Stories present. I can't hear. Oh, hopefully everyone else can hear me. It's there, mate. Can't see it. Can't see it. Oh, balls. This is so vital. Yes, Ian, it is vital. It will be also lead to more personal recommendations. And this is the thing, right? So Ian's got it, knocked it on the head there. That's kind of a little sign that he's actually listened and watched all the Power Agent content. But there's a lot of agents that I come across who are struggling, and I'm like, cool, what percentage of your new business comes to recommendation? And they're like, oh, I'm not quite sure, or not a lot. And the problem there isn't marketing. Like when I work with them and they kind of say, I need more lead gen, I'm like, you don't need more lead gen. You need to really nail your client experience and how you're dealing with them clients, because your number one lead source as an estate agent, bearing in mind that you're dealing with thousands of people every month, should be recommendation. Aidan, great tips here, brilliant teaching. See, I like this. I thought this was like low-level stuff, but I'm really pleased that you guys are taking value from it. Right, let me share my screen again, because I'm hoping that everyone can see it. Let me share my screen. Mel, Ian, somebody, can you put on comments if you can see my screen? At the minute, it's looking very weird because it's whatever that is. But before I rattle on, I want to make sure everyone can actually see it. Don't drop off. You're going to love this one, but I need to make sure you can all see it before I crack on. Please, come on. What's going on with this thing? Yes, Ian, Ledge, right, here we go. This is going to be powerful if everyone's on. When this becomes really, really important, if you change that switch when you're prospecting, you know the old saying, being their agent before they actually employ you as their agent, that's really important. So when you're prospecting, you can be using stuff like giving them advice, ultimately, about their current marketing with their current agent, and the chances are they're going to come to you. When you're dealing with a client, when they're for sale and that kind of stuff. But more importantly, when it gets to the negotiation stage, it's crucial to have this we versus you. But there are situations when you do need to be a bit more kind of hard hitting and let them know that if they make the wrong decision here, it's on them because you've given them options. So inside the Power Agent, full resource, blueprint, training course, A to Z of being an estate agent, whatever you want to call it, there's this thing, and I'm going to show you it now, right? This is something that I used and it worked brilliantly. I had this really tricky negotiation that I was trying to tie up. It was 1.3 million and the sellers wanted 1.4. And I knew deep down that they were not going to get 1.4, but they had a corporate high-end agent blow smoke up their backside for so many months. Another agent knocking their door down saying, oh, you know, I could get you 1.4, all that nonsense that goes on in our industry. And I was like, this is like a one-time thing. I need to go around there tonight and I need to get this agreed for their own benefit, because if they miss this offer, they're not going to, unlikely to get a better one later down the line. So I produced an option sheet, and I use it a lot to this day, and our agents use it a lot as well. And it's really, really basic, and I'm a simple kind of guy, but it just works. So it was like Brooklyn sale, Heathfield purchase. They wanted to buy and sell and buy. I had a little overview of what's going on. Remember, guys, this is all in the Power Agent, the full background of it. So if you want to get involved in that, drop a comment below and I'll get Rob to get in touch to go through a suitability call with you. But it was literally this, right? For every situation, there's 3 options. This is what I kind of got into my mind. And there might be 5 options, but you can't confuse and bombard a client. So for every situation, there's always going to be 3 options. As an agent, it's your job to help and advise. You can't decide for people. What you can do is you can weight your advice towards one option, but then leave the decision with them. So I broke down, you got 3 options here, option 1, option 2, option 3. I broke down the drawbacks of that option. So every option had a kind of a pro and a con, a drawback and a benefit. And in the end, he took my advice. Obviously, I weighted my advice to option 1. And he agreed with me. But a big thing that I'm really hot on is I always give options. So as an agent, you're there to help and advise. You can't make someone do something. The only way you can make someone want to do something is to make them want to do it. Now, I use that analogy a lot, like I guess with my kids mostly, but it's in real life as well. Like someone ain't going to do something because you tell them to do it or you think it's a good idea. They're only going to do it because they want to do it. So it's your job to make them want to do it. Might be using benefits, might be using the fear factor. With all three options, there's a pro and a con, and there's one option you're going to say, look, it's totally your decision. I'll make very clear that we've got three options here, and I'll back you whatever you decide. But here's all the pros and cons. Pay $970 for Heathfield, blah blah blah. Not do a deal and keep looking for a buy at 1.3. The drawback here is I feel we'd need to take a 2-year view on this. We would need to take a 2-year view on this. Blah blah blah. The benefit is when the market bounces back, and it will. It's just a case of when. You will sell for probably 1.3, 1.4. But bear in mind, that will be because the market has increased 7.7%, meaning you're going to pay 7.7% on the house you want to buy. I'm not going to go into loads of detail with that. It's all in the power agent. But it's really important that you understand that two things, really. If you're using the word you in your communication too much, you've got to switch it out for we. You will get your retention strategy will be far greater. So you'll find you'll retain more clients. If when it comes to your sit down negotiations with clients, then make sure you've got an option sheet. You can't just go around there and give them loads of advice and expect them to remember it. So an option sheet is a real preparation before you meet the client and to give them the very best advice, but let them decide. But your advice is weighted towards one option. And if I quickly share my screen again, because I'm going to wrap up in a minute, I didn't want to go on forever and ever. Inside, oh, 1 second. Have a quick look. Inside the full content, see my screen, yeah. For the power agent, there is, where is it? There we go. So in the negotiating section, you've got loads. You've got the 9-step negotiation strategy. You've got the rules of negotiation. There's so much here that you can pull on to use. But the option sheet is so important because it will show you exactly how to create a really quick document, leave it with the client. And when I had done it with my client, I left it with them and just said to them, look, don't make a decision now. Sleep on it. Think about it. In my view, there's the three options. My advice is that one, but whatever you decide, I'll back you and I'll speak to you in the morning. Whatever you decide, I'll carry on working really hard for you and we will get moved. I can assure you of that. But yeah, this has gone down a bit better than I thought it would. So we need to make sure that we're replacing the word you in the communication with clients to we. Old Stories put a comment, hey Pez, I had a trick negotiation last week, house where we had 925 offer, which using other local comps, and after 2.5 months of marketing, did a WhatsApp video. They're getting divorced. We went through just the process and it worked. Went through just this process and it worked. Awesome, man. That's really good. It was the right call for them and led to an 18 grand fee. Really felt like I'd offered them good, honest advice and it's led to a good outcome for us all. That's the thing, innit? As long as you can go to sleep at night knowing that come rain or shine, you're giving your clients the really best advice based on your experience and your kind of good ethics about how you go around about being an estate agent. That alone, I've had people come back to us, right, or come back to me at Power Bespoke who have said, oh, you didn't sell the house. They actually sold it with so-and-so, but they were so happy with your advice and the way you dealt with them that they recommended you, and they were really unhappy with the agency that sold their property. So that's so important. I think that's it, guys. 20 minutes. I've got dry mouth. So I'm going to, next Monday, 5 o'clock, we'll do something else, do another little session. Remember, there's hours and hours of content in the Power Agent for people that really want to go deep, increase their conversions, increase their fees. It's a real way of being an agent, the Power Agent. So it's not for everyone. One of the joining criteria is you have to have a 0-week contract in your estate agency. That's what I've decided. So yeah, drop a comment below if you want to jump on it or have more information about it. Keep smashing it. It's Monday night. We've got the week ahead. Drop some comments in the group if you need any help or anything. There's some amazing agents in the group. And I'll see everyone soon. Take care.